everyone, my name is Crane, the host of the Amun Inside Crypto podcast. Welcome back to another episode. We talk about all the constituents of our Polygon Ecosystem Index. I want to apologize to those solely users last week. I was supposed to do the TLDR and I totally forgot because I think DeFi's got it, PECO's got it, but yep, I have corrected that. So the next solely episode you guys will see will definitely have the TLDR inside. As you can see by today's chart, you can guess, unless you've been under a rock, the market is not doing great. The Fed had a meeting last week and the news has not been fantastic. The market's been going down. I had a look on my Binance app on my phone just before I started recording this show, and the things were pretty much in the red. So let's jump over to our TLDR and talk about some of this stuff. Polygon's 25 million Superlayer fund. Things for you guys to think about as we talk about this episode is the money being raised. This is not the first fund Polygon has raised. I'm sure you guys would have seen the news. Polygon raised another $50 million fund. The next thing we're going to talk about is smart contract upgrades. This relates to Aavegotchi, but this relates to smart contracts in general. Smart contract is like a standard. There's different kinds of smart contracts, different ERC tokens. These are the things that we're going to talk about today and how this sort of industry is very movable, very changeable, because smart contracts are not set in stone. They're limited by the human mind and what you can include in a smart contract, which is cool. The next thing we're going to talk about today, of course, is our favorite leverage platform Gains, the July 2022 recap. We covered their version 6.1 upgrade, and now we get to see what happened post version 6.1. What changes were there? Were they good? Were they bad? The next thing we're going to talk about today is Dao and Metis Rewards. Dao is the people who allow you to mint MAI, and when you mint MAI on certain platforms, and Metis is an up-and-coming chain, you get cool rewards, something to think about. The last thing is Beefy, right? Beefy Finance. They have all these different vols and strategies, and there are some really good APRs. Again, not financial advice for you guys to take advantage of, and we've been talking about in the interviews sustainability when it comes to APRs. That's something for you guys to think about as well. Let's go back and have a look at our PECO index. PECO currently sitting at $2.44, down 1% in the last week. Current market cap is $222,010. The discount on Matic on Polygon is 1.52%, no discount on Ethereum. The index is currently the same, though keep in mind, as I mentioned on the last Soli episode, that the rebalance will happen according to my calendar, so should be, I guess, like the 2nd of September Taiwanese time or the 1st of September American time, depending where you live. So the constituents have not changed since the last time we did a PECO episode, so I'm not going to go over this. Allocations might have rebalanced, but still Matic extremely at the top, 51.87%, Aavegotchi number 2, 19.6%, and Gains 9.84%. That's why I tend to talk about Gains. This is the methodology that has not changed. Reminder to people who are holding PECO or Soli that we will be rebalancing this. The vote is ongoing at the moment to take this methodology and apply it to our Soli token. So if you are a Soli holder, you still have a chance to vote, if I'm not mistaken. Something to keep in mind, past histories, and that is it. So before we go into our Matic news for today, I wanted to mention that we have a little bit of a summary with regards to coin and what's happened in the last few days. Right, this is a courtesy of Bloomberg, if I'm not mistaken. So as usual, it's about 2 minutes and 44 seconds. If you don't want to listen to that, you can skip ahead 2 minutes and 44 seconds to our Polygon news. Before even that, we're going to talk about DeFi Llama as well. First, watch the video. And if you don't want to watch the video, skip 2 minutes and 44 seconds and listen to us talk about Polygon's TVL on DeFi Llama.
And Sue, the wider crypto market, I think a lot of these crypto lovers are hoping the bottom was in. Doesn't look like it.
Well, you know, there's a lot of focus on where the Fed rate hikes are going to go, and that clearly is what is driving this most recent volatility. The markets in general did not like what Fed Chair Jay Powell had to say. Let's drop into the Bloomberg, and we had been stuck around the 20,000 level, which held support over the last 8 to 12 hours after a 2-day drop of more than 7.5%. But as you look at the screen right now, you can see we've dropped back into the 19,000 level, and that's where a lot of the technical strategists will tell you real support is. The high 19,000s, the mid 19,000s, and so support is holding, as many of the Bitcoin enthusiasts will say. The gyrations have come amid uncertainty about the path and magnitude of Fed rate hikes and the effect they could have on riskier assets, and you have to look at the bigger picture. We had just already been through a big retreat in the cryptos, and there were just starting to find their footing once again. Now, numerous strategists have flagged 20,000 as a key point, so there'll be a lot of focus over this over the next couple of days. Bitcoin, of course, had a lot of company. Let's look at the other cryptos. A lot of red on the screen right there. The second biggest crypto, Ether, was holding steady around 1,500. You can see it's dropped below that. It was at 1,500 in the past 12 to 18 hours after dropping 13% over the past 2 days. So it's been fluctuating in recent weeks, and a lot of focus on Ethereum ahead of that much anticipated software upgrade.
Sue, meanwhile, there's starting to be a big divide in terms of how to position for the so-called merge. What's the story there?
Yeah, the merge or software upgrade, that has been a huge discussion because this is something that many thought was never going to come. It was delayed for several years. Now it's scheduled for mid-September. How to play it is the question, and it was a question before we saw this most recent volatility. To quote Miller Tabak's chief market strategist, retail investors are getting a little nervous. You can just look at the chart and see why. We're about to enter another risk-off period for the markets. They've taken a pretty big beating. Some retail investors down 70 or 80% in their holdings, so they could be taking some chips off the table, he says. However, the institutional investors and big firms, which were a little more sophisticated, are taking advantage of the dip to add Ether. Back to you.
So Polygon's current TVL on DeFi Llama, $1.81 billion. The change in the last 24 hours is 1.34%. MM Finance dominance. I have no, who the hell is MM Finance? Is wow, at 21.58%. That is new. I'm going to have to look that up later. They're on Kronos and Polygon. Okay, Aave number 2. So if you remember the last time we did this episode, Aave was number 1. This shot up, I guess, $391 million in I never saw this the last time. Aave number 2, Quickswap number 3, Curve number 4, Beefy number 5, Uniswap, Stargate is new, right? Stargate is listed on Binance number 7. Okay, interesting. All right, let's talk about our Polygon news. This is about Superlayer. We're thrilled to announce a new $25 million fund for the Superlayer ecosystem led by OX Polygon. The funding will be used to expand our unique operating model, invest in new projects, and build premium Web3 products for rapid mass adoption. Read more on our blog and thread below. Superlayer's track record for Web3 innovation is unrivaled. We're delighted to partner with Superlayer to explore creative new use cases and products that can positively influence the future of Web3. So this is Sandeep, of course, the co-founder of Polygon. Polygon is designed to work in parallel with Ethereum to improve functionality and promote infrastructure development, in part by lowering expensive transaction costs. OX Polygon reduces the network load for the industry and creates a more sustainable path forward for Web3. OX Polygon is a layer 2 scaling solution for Ethereum's stress-tested blockchain that benefits both entrepreneurs and end users. We are end users. With this partnership, we're enthusiastic about shipping products to lead the way on Polygon. The Anchor Fund investment from OX Polygon provides us with additional opportunities to expand and strengthen Superlayer's ecosystem projects. Together, we are committed to launching the next generation of companies that make Web3 accessible to mainstream audiences. Okay, let's have a look at what is a Superlayer. Building the future of consumer crypto. I like that, consumer, right? Consumers are us. Superlayer is building a community, creating transformative Web3 experiences that democratize opportunity and ownership of the internet. This is built with us, built with the best access and unrivaled Web3 stack, launch 5 times faster. So they help you to launch your projects, get funded by leading investors. Join as a founding PM to lead a new project. Are you not just a PM, right? Not just a funder, you're both. Develop the project vision and roadmap. Fund, launch, and test. I like it. Public launch and fundraise. Oh, the places you go. Nice. So who are they? Mahesh Valanki, Kevin Cho. Very cool. Okay, the future of crypto, consumer crypto starts here. All right, I hope you guys enjoy that. So Superlayer, you guys know I'm a big fan of looking at interesting projects, new protocols, that sort of stuff. Let's jump on and go on to our next piece of news. So this is about Aavegotchi holding millions of dollars with this new way to upgrade contracts. EIP, for those who don't remember, Ethereum Improvement Proposal 2535. Diamond Standard, motivation to add upgrade functionality, organizing contract code and data, exceeding the 24 kilobyte maximum contract size limit. I didn't realize contracts were that small. Below is a thread on what is EIP 2535. The diamond stated is a step up from EIP 1538. It is a smart contract system whose functionality and storage are separated into distinct contracts. Wow. Alright, so not everything bundled into one, which makes sense about the size. You might have heard of the upgrade proxy pattern. A proxy contract is what the user interacts with and which holds the data. However, Diamond is a contract with external functions that are supplied by contracts called facets. And facets are separate, independent contracts that can share internal functions, libraries, and variables. Okay, so user, proxy contract, delegate call, logic contract, Diamond facet. Okay, interesting. How to integrate it. Currently, we have 3 ways to integrate it, right? Diamond 1 hard hat, this explains here. Diamond 2 hard hat, Diamond 3 hard hat. To summarize the distinction, if the primary aim is gas optimization and regular contract upgrades, then Diamond number 2 is the one. Otherwise, it is a simple logic contract with few updates. Diamond 1 is the way to go. Okay. So this is something I'd love for us to take time and read this document, but I think this is beyond the scope of today's podcast. So if you'd like to read it, the thread, all of these links as usual are down in the podcast, in the show notes, in the YouTube notes. Please keep an eye on that. Okay, let's move on to Quickswap. So it says we have our winners. The robots have come out of nowhere and stolen the title from SFL and Revolt. Jokes aside, the 2 finalists have agreed to split the rewards. That's really cool. So SFL, you guys know, is a project I'm very passionate about. They're over here, right? These 2 projects. So they won and they're sharing the rewards, which is fantastic. So at some point, if you are a SFL holder or a Revolt holder, be able to take part in some yield farming, right? Liquidity mining on Quickswap and earn some rewards, which is really cool. That is it from Quickswap. Of course, Quickswap has the latest APR offerings, yield farming offerings. So that's definitely something you should follow their Twitter on and check them out. Also, just head over to the website. You can have a look over there as well. All right, next piece of news we're going to talk about is gains. All right, so this is published on August 20th, 9 days ago. G-Trade July 2022 recap. Every day at Gains Network, we strive to innovate and improve G-Trade. So this explains the 6.1. We've talked about this before. Our 6.1 upgrade has given us the ability to offer the widest range of leverage, with the minimum now being 4x. We are now monitoring the new risk management system to deduce how low leverage we can offer. We are now also able to add more trading pairs, and then we could add before, and most of the pairs delisted before have been re-added. That's really cool. There was a whole bunch of market craziness and Gains delisted a bunch of trading pairs. Good to hear that they've re-added them. The update has allowed us to expedite the allowance of higher collateral sizes. So we have increased the threshold back to the previous 100,000 DAI, right? That's $100,000. That's pretty impressive. Okay, you can learn more about the benefits of here. Version 6.2 and beyond. This July, the dev team has fully focused on delivering and setting the scope of version 6.2, which consists of GNS staking for DAI. So if you're a Gains holder, you get to stake Gains and you earn stablecoin, which is awesome. A new referral system with whitelist, price aggregator, optimizations for NFT bots, Oracle, fee calculations, and more. You can find out more about version 6.2 here. The new development has required a lot of smart contract work and unit testing. You can see what's next on the list for the team here. The July revenue, right? Total trade volume, 818 million, profit 602,000. That's pretty good in a bear market. Total number of trades, 32,000 trades. NFT bots governance fund, 100K, not bad. GNS DAI LPs, 141,000. Platform traders, 332 traders. This sort of makes me think that Gains doesn't have as many traders as I would have thought, and that's expected, right? Because leverage trading is dangerous, as I've mentioned on this podcast before. So these are people who are taking risks or trying Gains out. But I think Gains, in order to grow, definitely needs to find a way to onboard or create a system for people to try and leverage in the least riskiest possible way. Maybe not like a simulation, but like a way for people to try out leverage without it being that risky in a sense. Ongoing work on the website, handling our first 2 stock splits, right? This month they handled Google 1 to 20 stock splits and GME 1 to 4 stock split. Crazy. That's really nice. New feedback form, faster order confirmations. Coinbase Wallet support. So Coinbase Wallet definitely becoming more popular. Oh, they were recently featured on the Matic news site. That's really cool. Polydodge X Matic News Twitter Space. So they're invited to a Twitter Space, trading view chart saving. Twitter Space on version 6.1, highest volume project on Polygon. Wow, and I think this is because there are a lot of whales using gains. That is why the highest volume project on Polygon. All right, conclusion. Fantastic. Okay, let's move on to our next news. It says, let the Metis incentives begin. Dao and the Metis DAO have partnered to provide Metis Vault incentives for minting Mai. Minting Mai at 0% interest. So this is very famous with Dao. Whenever you mint Mai on a new sort of ecosystem, even now currently I believe it's a 0% interest against wrapped Ethereum and Metis, and earn rewards in Metis. You get to earn Metis. Metis is an upcoming ecosystem, right? One of the bunch of new ecosystems that are launching, or actually they've already launched. So 94.85% interest rate. Wrapped Ethereum 410.77% interest rate. That is impressive. So it says, when are you going to replenish Metis and Weth vaults with more Mai? Okay, so not much there on Dao. I couldn't find a lot of interesting stuff, right? It is a very slow month, so you guys would probably know that it is the sort of in the northern hemisphere, right? It is summer is ending, we're moving into fall. People are going back to school, or kids are going back to school. And again, because I used to be a teacher, I know this. Kids started school here in Taiwan today, right? So a lot of people are on holiday and getting back to work. So the building and stuff has been a little bit slow, of course, because people need to take time off, especially with COVID. So that is why things are the way they are as far as news goes. But we still have, as you can see, we still have quite a few tabs of news. Let's go talk about our relatively new addition to this, which is Gensokishi. So it says, the benefit of blockchain demonstrates the significant value advantages of technological innovation. This talks about NFTs, and the incorporation of blockchain technology into gaming has altered the field of play. NFTs are a means of value exchange in virtual gaming worlds, and this new era of digital ownership, rights, and financial inclusion. That is a good point, right? This is critical in blockchain gaming and was what is now known as the play-to-earn industry. Trading in-game assets on cryptocurrency exchanges has been made possible through MetalFi. Yes, NFTs can also be entered by players using in-game characters and items. So this talks about Gensokishi, right, or Metaverse if you're a PECO holder. I didn't realize this was a Switch game, Elemental Knights, but as we've talked about this before, go back and check previous PECO episodes to see how popular this has been, right? This collaboration NFT will be a super rare equivalent NFT among Gensokishi, increasing the character's strength and making it easier to collect Gensokishi tokens earned through play. Mr. Amano is in charge of the draft design of 20 pieces of equipment for the characters to wear, 10 for men and 10 for women, each with 8 body parts. Nice. Okay, based on the draft design, 3D data is generated in 8 parts times 10 types are randomly combined to generate 11,000 NFTs, a one-of-a-kind limited collaboration equipment design. Gensokishi Online has thus proudly announced that the applications for the whitelist lottery regarding the exclusive collaboration NFT with Yoshikata Amano. All right, you can go check out their site. You can just use, there's a bunch of Japanese stuff on their Twitter. You can just use Google Translate to translate it. There's a lot of stuff going on with Gensokishi. Great for people who are holding PECO, because as I always say, when there's continuous improvement in an index token or basket token, that's always good, because despite the price action of the market, things are going forward. People are not stopping. So we have to keep going. Okay. Let's move on to Atlas USV. Atlas USV recently concluded their meme contest, and this is cool. It's the old 80s Super Mario. There's the Atlas USV tokens. Mario grabs the Atlas USV token, and then he takes the moon, he goes to the moon, and there's Atlas USV, which is really cool. 20-second video, again, something cool you guys should watch. Atlas USV, guys, still not a lot going on. There's a bunch of tweets here and there. I'm gonna try to do some research, see if there's a better place for me to get news when it comes to Atlas USV for you guys. Otherwise, let's move on to Beefy Finance. Beefy Finance vaults multi-chain yield optimizer, right, making the best out of your money. Beefy weekly highlights. 2 hours ago, Travala book a trip to Cambodia with Beefy. That's really cool. So Travala, very famous website. What is that? Hotels, booking.com. Ziggyverse NFT, top 300 Beefy holders whitelisted. Partnerships, Symbiosis Fi, CoinSwap, 2 boosted vaults, 25 new vaults, right? That is a lot of vaults. Live on 16 networks, DeFi for everyone, right? Oh, Hector Network. Now you can get all that auto compounding goodness in B-Chain. So Hector BNB, all right, 208% APY. Tor BSD, 13% APY. That is pretty cool. I did see a bunch of other stuff. So this is on Phantom USDT and Phantom 33% APY. So lots of opportunities. So good for Beefy as usual. They're always incentivizing liquidity in these various places. You guys should definitely take a part of it, or something for you to look into if you are part of this ecosystem. You want to try something new, right? I always think I like to try new yield products. I've not had much time to invest recently because I've been spending my money on holidays and bicycle stuff. So that is me. Anyway, let's move on to Axion. So this is Axion's summer stakes. Stake a minimum of $150. That's not bad. Free entry into our prize will receive 8% APY and a free Phoenix NFT. Very cool. I wish there was an example of this. Free Axion branded baseball cap first 200 entries. A summer staking promo. Phoenix NFTs. Tiered Phoenix NFTs. So you get a nice HP 15.6 laptop, 10.8 Apple iPad, Wi-Fi, and a Samsung 32.inch smart monitor. I think I know that is probably the M7. Okay. If you're an Axion holder and you're staking, you should definitely enter this, right? Who doesn't like a chance to enter some free prize? I wouldn't mind a new iPad. My iPad, I got the first edition iPad Pro when it first came out, 12.9 inches many years ago. It is getting old, but I bought a MacBook recently this year, so I'm not going to buy a new iPad. I'll probably just stick with my MacBook. Okay, last thing, Jarvis has released a new newsletter, Paraswap integration with version 2 complete. Jarvis Euros and USDC, right? Liquidity. Their partnership with Mount Pelerin. So Mount Pelerin, when I was preparing for this show, they're a fiat on-ramp and off-ramp, which is cool. And I guess this looks like some sort of European destination over there. 3 transactions per day, $11,600 per user, $2,700 per transaction. On Gnosis chain is mostly for using the real TP platform, T platform. Right, 100,000 subs with the Syntherium version 2 being now tracked on our June Analytics dashboard, with a pleasant surprise to see a boom in the number of transactions. Good. These guys are working hard, so they deserve this sort of goodness. $7 million in TVL, market cap 6.3 million, volume 227 million. That's impressive, right? Data on BNB, so they're on multi-chain as well. Very cool. Liquidity app. We have finally finalized the initial version of the dashboard for liquidity providers onboarding app. Very cool. So I love this. I love that this is a very simple newsletter, short amount of text, wonderful for Jarvis. So this is it, guys. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week. I'm not too depressed by the market as well. If you listened to last week's episode with O3Swap, Matt had a lot of cool things to talk about. If you haven't listened, it's definitely an episode to listen to. We talked about incentivization in DeFi. I also did another podcast with the chief of DeFi of Anchor Protocol. They're the Web3 infrastructure guys, liquid staking guys. They provide liquid staking solutions for other people. They partnered with a whole bunch of people that just raised money on Binance. But this podcast is coming out this week, Thursday or Friday, depending when the art comes out. There's a big event going on which I cannot talk about. So this episode might be a little bit delayed because our design team is busy, but don't worry about it. And then this week, Thursday morning, Taiwanese time, I'll be interviewing the guy who founded Dao. They're doing like a fractionized NFTs when it comes to land, and they're creating like a tourism ecosystem. That episode I record this week, Thursday, will be out next week, Friday. And that is it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It is a little bit late on my side, so I don't think I'll get down to editing this, but I'm glad I got it done today. And you guys take care, and I'll see you guys, pretty much at the end of this week. Keep safe, don't worry, and take care.